for Brett Hearn.
Well, they wanted me to slow down a little bit, not burn up the fuel, but we were out front, so we had to go for it.
Well, you certainly put on a good show. You're going to be starting on the outside of row number 6 come Sunday afternoon for the CarQuest 200. Rick, congratulations on a job well done.
Thank you.
Rick Mill, ladies and gentlemen, he'll go racing on the outside of row number 6 come Sunday afternoon here at the Orange County Speedway. Okay. 8 seconds, and Craig, once again, you're always sort of a surprise here for Big Block Modified Time Trials, and it certainly appears that when it counts, you can certainly come home with a good time trial.
Well, I'd like to thank my crew. They worked hard all week, and we accomplished our goal for the day.
Now what's in store for Sunday afternoon?
Make a game plan and try to win the race.
A lot of changing that you had to do to secure that fast of a time for the time trial. You had to kind of readjust the car now for the long distance.
Yeah, we did little changes on the front springs.
So it's time to turn back to the original setup, and who knows, hopefully you'll be there for the long run. Give them a good finish for the folks back there in Peckville.
I'd like to.
Craig Jackson, ladies and gentlemen, on the inside of row number 6 out here for this seconds. Not a bad time. Did you know that you had one of the fastest times when you're out there?
Well, you never really know until you come in and talk with the guys, but I didn't think we were too far off.
Well, a lot of work being done, of course, by the Tremont crew this weekend. You've got a whole bunch of cars to go racing with here for the CarQuest Racing Festival, and a lot of difference between your big block and small block rides out here this weekend.
Well, actually, the cars are real close to being the same, with the difference just being a small block in one car and a big block in the other, but the chassis are real close to being the same.
So it keeps the driver real comfortable no matter what race he's in.
Yeah, it does help.
Good job out there, Kenny Tremont. You'll be going away on the inside. You always come home with a real good, surprising run.
Yeah, the way the year's been going, I didn't think we had a chance, but the last couple of weeks we got the car going, and really made a difference during this weekend.
8th fastest time out there, 22.353. When you saw that competition out there once again for Eastern States, did you think you could really walk home with a top time trial session?
We usually run good during time trials, so I knew the car felt good in the warm-up, so I knew we had a good chance.
Well, you certainly know the fast way around when you're out there by yourself, and I'll tell you what, there's a whole lot of drivers that would like to know your secret, because second year in a row you walked home with a top 12 start, and of course, now your work's pretty much done for you. You can sit back and relax tomorrow and just hop in the car and go racing on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, now all the pressure's off. We can just hang out tomorrow and just watch some racing.
Chris, good job once again. Chris Whitehead, ladies and gentlemen, 8th place in your top 12 time trialers out there. Number 44 car. And Bill, top 6. You'll be on the outside of row number 3 come Sunday afternoon. What changes now are in store for the big number 44?
Well, I don't think we're going to change too much. Car felt real good. We'd like to thank R&D Collision for all their help, and plus my pit crew.
I'll tell you what, just like some of these other drivers, you had some good glory moments in 1995, and I'll tell you what, this weekend might certainly be turning out to be one of your best runs all year.
Well, I hope so. I'm sure I could use it.
Well, starting on the outside of row number 3, got one of the best seats in the pew for come Sunday afternoon service.
I'll have to be there at the end, too.
Bill Cherry, ladies and gentlemen, 6th fastest time trialer, 22.292 seconds. Let's see who's left here in the top 6 that have already headed out for the afternoon. Jeff Etzler, there you are. Tell you what, Jeff, you've got a whole fleet of cars back there, both big blocks and small blocks by the reclamation team. They brought you out a real good small block out there earlier, a pair of big blocks. Things really do look in your favor for this CarQuest Eastern States weekend.
Yeah, ever since mid-season, the reclamation team's really been coming together, and I got to thank all the guys. They did one long ways, and I think the reclamation team will put me in the front at the end.
Sunday afternoon, had 2 Sundays ago. It's going to be one real sweet weekend for the number 72 crew.
Well, the strategy is going to be a little bit different this year with the feature, because we have a choice of hards or extra hards this year. So really, there's going to be a lot of different strategies, and I don't think that just putting on the hardest tire and pitting early is going to be the answer. I think maybe there's going to be 2 different distinct game plans. So it could throw a little bit of a curveball at us, and we got to try to decide what the best thing to do is.
Well, we won't ask you what your strategy is going to be for Sunday afternoon, but maybe Sunday afternoon, a little bit later on in the day, you'll be able to tell us what your strategy was.
I don't think if you ask me right now, I could tell you, because I don't have a strategy for tomorrow or Sunday right now. I guess we just have to watch the weather.
Brett Hearn, an outstanding drive this afternoon. Pole starting spot for Sunday afternoon's CarQuest 200, and your new all-time track record holder at a time of 21.829 seconds. Premier Editions by Pace American. Once again, brought to us by Cedar Ridge RV Sales out of Branchville, New Jersey. And of course, we got a nice Monte Carlo to take the family home with here this afternoon.
That's a beautiful car right there. I'll tell you, it's a big bonus to win a race like that and come home with a car and a trailer. It's amazing.
Well, I'm sure that beautiful Monte Carlo is going to remain in the Hearn household for quite some time.
Oh, maybe Sue will want to drive that for a while.
I'll tell you what, a job well done, part of the very big contingency awards, and of course it made your win worth well over $100,000. But I'll tell you what, you've got a whole lot of work cut out for you out here this afternoon, and there just might be some more awards waiting for you at the end of today.
Boy, I hope so. This month of October for the Auto Palace team has been fantastic, and really, no matter what happens here today, it's still been a great month. But right now, the car feels really super good, and it's going to be a long day, and the track's going to change quite a bit, but I think we're ready for the task.
Well, you're 2 for 2 over the last 2 weeks. It could be a real good way to round out a 3 for 3 3-week stretch, and of course, you had the win up there.
Yeah, I'd like to thank the people from Play Talks. This is really a great award. Thank you.
Jimmy Hauser, ladies and gentlemen, picking up the best. Dennis Dino and the entire Dino family from Playtime Shopping Center right downtown here in Middletown, New York, as they have now presented their best appearing car and crew awards for this CarQuest Eastern States Racing Weekend. Chuck Lopresti from last night's qualifying round, and I'll tell you what, you certainly had your hands full to try and bring that Tri-State 10L car up there into the #1 spot, and things just didn't quite go your way.
No, we had a tough break in the heat, and we started back in the Consi, and we had a fast car, but we just didn't get up to the front to make the show. I'd like to thank Tri-State Roofing for sponsoring me for the year and supplying me with a good race car. Next year we'll be back good and strong.
Well, the folks from Area Auto Racing News recognize your hard-charging efforts, and of course they've got a $150 pair of Simpson racing shoes, which you can always use out here at the 5/8 mile for your hard-charging efforts this weekend.
Yes, I'd like to thank them very much for the shoes and for the award, and thank you very much.
Chuck Lopresti, ladies and gentlemen, your small block 358 modified hard luck award recipient. Big block modified hard luck award recipient. He made the trip all the way down from Roxbury, Connecticut this weekend here at the Orange County Fair Speedway. Sparky Lowe driving that S&S Asphalt Paving 77S car. And, well, I'll tell you, that consolation out there that you were involved in, that was a real barn burner. Had a lot of people on the edges of their seats, and we really thought you would be walking home with a qualifying spot.
Yeah, we really thought so on that first lap. The original start, I got taken out and had to go to the rear. And we fought our way back up through. The car was working pretty well. This is our first time here at Orange County with a big block. And I thought we had it, and we got passed by a regular with 1 lap to go. And we really appreciate getting this hard luck award from Area Auto Racing. But we'll be back, and we'll give it a try again.
Well, you had about 4 cars gunning for just 1 position out there. You were caught right in the thick of things, but once again, the folks from Area Auto Racing News, they've got a $150 pair of Simpson racing shoes, and those are always come in handy for next year's Eastern States charge.
Absolutely. I need a pair of shoes anyway, so that part worked out real well. I'd like to thank S&S Asphalt Paving. They made it possible for us to be here and run all year.
Sparky packed out here in the home straightaway. The folks from Quality Auto Body, a long-time outstanding contingency award sponsor for Eastern States Weekend. They are back at the 1995 racing season as well with the Pole and Outside Pole Award. Mr. Bob Reynolds and contingents right now from Quality Auto Body, Truck Center and Service Center are presenting your outside pole sitter, Jeff at the 95 CarQuest Eastern States 200. And Brett receiving his check right now, the $500 bonus. Boy, that's a way to get that front row rolling in a real fast way. As Brett picks up his $200 check, a beautiful trophy and plaque as presented by Bob Reynolds, the entire crew from Quality Auto Body, Truck Center and Service Center, Racetrack Recovery Specialist. We've seen them at just about every meeting. Got $500 to boot out here this afternoon from the folks from Quality Auto Body for your pole sitting award. Ladies and gentlemen, we might be talking to this young man a little bit later on, Brett Hearn. You'll be going away from the best seat in the house when the green flag drops for the CarQuest 200.
Well, we got a great...
Number 702 car, 2-time Eastern States winner, it's Frank Cozy. On New York, the Mr. K's carpet number 97 car, Jerry Higby. New York, it's Mike Rickey. Ice Cream PS Express pending number 10 car, it's Richie Urich. All Corporation number 7X car, it's the Hurricane Steve Payne. On the number 33 in the third car, Tommy Meyer. Row number 11 on the outside, going away in 22nd starting spot out of Ramsey, New Jersey. The Chariot Custom Vans, Trucks, and Trailers number 7 car, Billy Wilson. On the inside of Billy out of Annville, Pennsylvania, the Council Herald Trucking number 35 car, Richie Toby Tobias Jr. Car Frankie J. Frank Jezebelski. Row number 9 on the outside from here in Middletown, New York. It's the Dover Break Fairweather Racing Katzenstein number 265 car, Chuck McKee. 8 Decker. 8th row on the outside, going away in 16th starting spot from Phelps, New York, with the Freightliner Trucks of Newburgh number 6 car, the Doctor of Big Block Excitement, DJ Danny Johnson. Allentown, Pennsylvania, piloting the Coors family of fine beers number 60 over car, it's Doug Hoffman. On the inside of Doug, out of Genoa, New York, behind the controls of the Finch Logging number 56 car, Pat Ward. Row number 6 on the outside from Brewster, New York, with the Pinsky Competition number 348 car in 12th position, Rick Bill. On the inside of Rick, going away in spot number 11 out of Peckville, Pennsylvania, the Jackson Excavating number 96 J car, Craig Jackson. Row number 5 on the outside, going away in spot number 10 out of Blauvelt, New York, the Hauser Brothers Mechanical number HB2 car, Mr. Small Block here in Orange County this year, Jimmy Hauser. On the inside of Jimmy, going away in spot number 9 out of West Sand Lake, New York, the Fane Concrete Doherty Brothers number 115 car, it's Kenny Tremont. Row number 4 on the outside from Vernon, New Jersey, with the Vernon Pool and Spa number 244 car, the youngster Chris Whitehead. On the inside of Chris from 7th position out of Watertown, New York, the Kinney Drugstore Syracuse frame number 9 car, the defending champion of Eastern States is the Barefoot Bob McCready. Row number 3 on the outside, starting in 6th position from Newburgh, New York, in the S&S Alarms Asphalt Pavements number 44 from New Windsor, it's Bill Cherry. On the inside of Bill from Phelps, New York, with the Smith Brothers Masonry number 74 car, it's AJ Slideways Alan Johnson. Row number 2 on the outside, going away in spot number 4 out of Somerville, New Jersey, piloting the Duchess overhead doors, number 87 car, Jimmy Horton. On the inside of Jimmy, going away in spot number 3 out of Twinsburg, New York, with the Bull Bar Service number 12B car, Jumpin' Jack Johnson. And ladies and gentlemen, your front row once again for the 1995 CarQuest Eastern States 200, going away in spot number 2 out of Wallkill, New York, with the Reclamation 33 car, it's the Jeff Hitzler. And your pole sitter for the 1995 CarQuest Eastern States 200 with Sussex, New Jersey, the Cavallaro number 72 car, piloting that corporate jet number 72, Brett Hearn. Well, that's your starting lineup right now, ladies and gentlemen. We are set for our invocation. Words of wisdom to light the minds, the hearts, and the power plants of all these big block modifieds out here this afternoon. Gentlemen, start your engines. There you have it.
Being displayed. Madam, here and out there in the back straightaway, you've got to have a favorite out there. Hearn and Hetzler in the front row, Jack Johnson and Jimmy Horton in row number 2. The Olsen Town Oldsmobile swings into the inside. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about ready to start the 1995 edition of the CarQuest 200. Down the chute come, the green is out, and a drag race down the front straightaway. Into that number 1 corner, Hetzler leads him going down the turn. Hetzler coming out of the corner, but it's Hearn in the top side as they move down the back straightaway down into that number 3 corner. The cars go thundering down the back straightaway into that number 3 turn. Here's Hearn in the Auto Palace car number 72. They lead him down the front straightaway. Hetzler in the reclamation number 33 right there tight in the number 2 spot. Hearn is up in all marbles, and we've got a new leader. They work off the number 2 corner down the back straightaway. It's Hetzler now in command. Hearn rides in the number 2 spot. Jumping Jack Johnson. Applying the pressure, riding right there in the number 3 spot as they come swinging off the corner. Back there fourth, it's the number 74, Alan Johnson, then Bob McCready in the Kitty Drugstore's car number 9. Behind him is Jimmy Horton in car number 87. Everybody looking for a single file lap here as they go down the back straightaway. On at turn number 4, it's Hetzler completing the 3rd lap with Hearn right there in the number 2 position. Hearn now trying to make a bid to close in. Remember, every lap worth some money in lap money as they go charging down into the number 3 corner. Hearn, the all-time lap leader here in the Orange County Eastern States Car Quest 200, rides back there second with the 1985 winner, 86 winner, Jack Johnson, riding back in the number 3 spot. Alan Johnson increased Smith Brothers car number 74. We got problem up in turn number 3. It's the number 55 of Joe Winnie. Joe having his problems today, had problems in his qualifying heat, problems in the consolation, did qualify through the consolation, and now brings out the first yellow. 5 laps are in. Remember, there is a mandatory pit stop. However, these cars now group together as they go down the back. Bob McCready in the number 5 spot. It's Jimmy Horton running back there in the number 6 position. In the number 7 spot, Kenny Tremont in car number 115 riding back in the number 7 spot. The Olsen Town Oldsmobile pace car swings in, ladies and gentlemen. We're ready to pick it back up as we ride down into the number 3 corner. Watch the restart. Hetzler on the inside, Hearn on the outside. They get ready to mash the pedal coming down the front chute, and the drag race is on. Hearn puts the radiator cap in front. Hetzler will not give. Hetzler wins the battle. We got a car up. It's Alan Johnson. Oh boy, at full speed, we've got a parking lot up there in the number 2 corner. Virtually a blocked racetrack. A virtually blocked racetrack up in the number 2 corner with 8 laps into this Car Quest 200. Alan Johnson in car number 74 pulls away under his own power. He was one of the original cars involved. Left rear tire down. The Olsen Town Oldsmobile pace car stopping them right here in the front straightaway. It's the only thing they virtually could do as that racetrack is blocked up there in the number 2 turn. The scene. Jimmy Chester, Craig Von Doren pull away under their own power, as will David Rudeman and Marco Potvin, Ed Zachary, Joe Winnie, Jeff Strunk, Butch Tittle, and Jerry Higbee all left with just looking for some racing room. Steve Payne down in turn number 1. He looks like he'll be able to continue under his own power. Damage is done to the 21J of Jeff Trombley, the 91 of Billy Decker, and possibly the 35 of Toby Tobias Jr. Good. The front end of his 91 is severely damaged. Bill Cheery as well. Jeff Trombley got some serious damage to the right-hand side of his car. Got a few rods there. The 35 of Tobias looks to be fine. Steve Down and Frank Cozy made one over in corner number 1. They're locked up together. Cozy, it looks like he says tires are left rear flat tire. Everything looks pretty good on the side of the 702. And Dave Axton's number 111 is definitely out. The 22 of Don, well, that looks like it's sustained some heavy damage to the right rear, but luckily none of the drivers are injured, and we should be getting ready to go here real soon. Thank you, Fair Speedway. A couple of more cars, I believe 4 more cars to be removed up there off the Speedway. Old Tobias on Lebanon, Pennsylvania, and car number 35, I do not believe involved in this. There's the Billy Wilcox car. There was one of the cars involved, apparently changing the shoe on that car and getting it straightened out a bit, and he's able to continue. Olson Todd Oldsmobile pace car staying in tow or up in front of the field as they bring them around between turns number 3 and 4. And the racetrack now being cleared. Racetrack now clear. I believe we're going to get a start this time, so hold on to your seats. Hearn in the number 72, the second place running car, just trying to psych out Jeff Hetzler as he popped ahead over there in turns number 1 and 2. Olson Todd pace car drops down on the inside. We're about set to go. He enters the pits at the rear pit gate. Watch this restart, ladies and gentlemen. Here they come, running Unleash the Power. The green is out. The drag race is out. And it's Hetzler back up at the point. Hetzler taking that lead. Hearn drops right in behind him to protect the number 2 spot. Moving up on the outside, Jack Johnson coming up on the inside. Jimmy Horton on the outside, battling for the number 3 spot. Back there, 5th is McCready, the current point leader. McCready just sitting there, waiting to make a move on Jack Johnson. As Johnson fades back to position number 4. Tremont now runs 6. Jackson rides back to the number 7 spot. Meanwhile, the leader, Hetzler, has broken away from the pack, and boy, is he putting on distance between himself and the rest of the racing field here in Orange County this afternoon. He's got himself a 12 3/4 length lead coming down the front straightaway. Hearn still in the number 2 spot, with Horton riding right there in the number 3 position. The 3 H's, Hetzler, Hearn, and Horton riding top 3 as they go motoring down the back straightaway. Jumping Jack Johnson rides in the number 4 spot. McCready still riding 5th. McCready now looks on the inside. Doesn't find any room in there. Again, looks down on the inside of Jack Johnson to try and pick up the number 4 spot. The 115 of Kenny Tremont still back in the number 6 position. All these strong warriors participating coming out of turn number 2. Working strongly going down the back straightaway. 12 laps are in this 200 lap event. A long way to go. But it's Hetzler showing everybody the short way around the Speedway. Hetzler continues to romp off at turn number 2, and now Hearn seems to have broken loose from the 87 of Jimmy Horton, and Hearn seems to be able to reel in Hetzler. Watch this action. Here's Hearn working off of turn 2 and down the front straightaway, trying to close in on the Hetzler car number 33. Hetzler still staying up there in front, but Hearn has now decreased that big lead as they work off the second corner. All cars running strongly as they go off of turn 2 and down the back straightaway. A battle will shape up for that number 2 position or number 1 spot as Hearn is quickly closing in on the leader. Jeff Hetzler works off of turn number 2 and goes down the back straightaway. Hetzler in turn number 3, Hearn closing in on him. Hearn was about 15 car lengths behind just a couple of laps ago, and he is on the move, trying to close in on Hetzler. Horton still 3rd, Jack Johnson 4th, Bob McCready 5th, Kenny Tremont 6th, Craig Jackson riding in the number 7 spot. Now they come off that number 2 corner in the long back straightaway. The leaders will be encountering traffic in probably about 3 laps, so keep your eyes on the leaders when they hit that traffic. Horton also now is starting to move in and close in on Hearn, so the top 3 cars seem to have all the power they need, and of course the one lap that they want to lead is the final lap. Car trouble. It's the Frank Cozy, car number 702, the CarQuest number 702, and apparently Frank feels that it's terminal. He pulls it behind pit road. A bad break for Cozy out of Windham, Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, the lead cars, as we indicated, are closing in rapidly on the tail markers here in this big CarQuest field. They're coming up quickly on Lauren Holland in car number 280. We have 19 laps in, and the 33 of Hetzler gets down on the inside of Lauren Holland. He's the first car to go down the lap via the racing route. Next in the line is the 222. Some problems right here in the front straightaway. The 244 of Chris Whitehead apparently switched lanes, and Hearn came up on the outside and then dropped down to the inside to get by Lauren Holland and Whitehead. Whitehead may have a left rear tire going down as he drops into the rear pit gate. Meanwhile, the leader, Jeff Hetzler, is hiding in traffic. He works over there between turns number 3 and 4 and brings him down. Hetzler. In the reclamation, car number 33. Now tight on the inside, getting through the traffic. He gets by Carl Pittenger and Billy Wilcox. Hearn trying to close in on him. Both of these drivers, masters in traffic. Off of turn number 2, they go racing down the back straightaway. Hearn still riding back there, second. Horton riding in the number 3 spot. McCready is taking away the number 4 spot. McCready is up to 4th. Jack Johnson is riding 5th. Kenny Tremont in the number 6 spot. McCready is on the move as he gets by jumping Jack Johnson aboard the car number 12B. Here's Hearn getting up wide. Hearn's got a handling problem. Joe Winnie in a little bit of trouble, almost touching the outside retaining wall coming off of turn number 2. Winnie, who's had his problems today. Hearn was right behind, saw it, and dropped down on the inside. Meanwhile, Jeff Hetzler, the leader. Traffic, Horton now closing in on him, and McCready closing in on Horton. We are up into the 25th lap of racing action, and to take you some of the way, here's Tim Pitt.
Well, lap traffic certainly has become the factor, and only 25 laps into the record books. Down the back straightaway, Hearn will try to get around Steve Dodd. Here comes Tom McCready back there, aboard the number 9 car. McCready onto the inside. Caution lights on the Speedway. McCready and Horton fight for the number 3 spot. Chester, riding aboard the number 16 J car, has brought out the caution after 25 laps of competition, 26 being on the board right now. Chester riding aboard the black number 16 J car. Chester is now down behind pit wall. A flat right rear tire on the 16 J car of Jimmy Chester has brought out the yellow. Crossover sign being given. Jeff Hetzler out of Wallkill, New York. He had 5 wins on the Dirt Motorsports Circuit in 1995. He is currently the leader of the CarQuest Eastern States 200. Right there in the shadows rides the corporate jet of Brett Hearn aboard the number 72 machine. The third place battle is very exciting at the point. It's 87 of Jimmy Horton. He had Bob McCready to contend with before the yellow came out. Very down at turn number 4. Green flag flies. We go back to racing action. Lights back on around the field right now. The field rallies down through turns number 3 and 4. Hetzler once again will show the way down the back straightaway. It's Hetzler and Horn. Right there, nose and tail. Billy Decker returns back to the Speedway surface after that first caution this afternoon. He's about 20 or so laps down to the field. Jeff Hetzler holds on to the number 1 spot. On to the inside part of the Speedway. The Chester is known for inside riding on the
the 5/8 mile. 3 wide deep in the heart of this big block modified field with Craig Jackson, Bobby Barron, and Rick Bill on a turn number 2 this time. Meanwhile, the action continuing at the front of the pack. Hetzler at the head of the class, bringing that pack down across the mark. Third, still second. Jimmy Horton rides at number 3 spot. Fourth, it is Bob McCready. McCready back there in the number 4 spot. Fifth would then be the 115 car of Kenny Tremont. Sixth, it's the 12 of Jack Johnson. Seventh, the 60 car of Dougie Hoffman. Down the back straightaway, a whole lot of elbow space now being built up. Everybody drops it back in line. Nobody steps out of it. Single file down through turns number 3 and 4. Down in 1 and 2 is where the action started to take shape. Jeff Hetzler tries to keep a mark on Brett Hearn. 3 wide, deep in the heart of the pack once again as we funnel our way to turns number 1 and 2. It's the Jeffer showing the way down in turns number 3 and 4. The field tightens up. Craig Jackson in trouble down the back straightaway. He bobbles for just a second and trying to put it back up to racing speeds. Now, top 3 cars all within shooting distance of each other. They're holding the rest of the field at bay. Down in turn number 2, rides the number 72 car, Brett Hearn. Jimmy Horton, who has been a very strong factor in this race. You'll watch the left front tire of that car in turn 2 and in turn 4. He is virtually twisting the chassis on that number 87 car. A whole lot of torque being applied right down to the racing surface. It shows the RPMs where they should be, but how long will a racing tire last with that kind of stress being put on it? Number 3 spot. Back in the number 3 spot, Horton continues to dominate. But wow, what a line of traffic he is choosing. Top 3 cars once again hold on to the number 3 positions on the field. No lap traffic in between them, but the 4th place battle continues. It's the barefoot Bob McCready out of Watertown, New York. He's caught in the middle of lap traffic, down to the inside, put a Speedway in turn number 4. The barefoot down across the mark this time. Back there riding amongst the lap cars. He is 4th on the field. Is the number 115 car of Kenny Tremont. Tremont back there aboard the 115, the Kenny Tremont Doherty lumber car. Tremont also caught in lap traffic. We see Carl Pittenger taking the Circle K car down behind pit wall after 36 laps of competition. McCready clears the lap cars. It's clear sailing for McCready right now, as he will now try to chew away at the long straightaway distance that he has to catch up to Jimmy Horton's 3rd place running automobile. Hetzler encountering lap traffic once again. Here he is coming out of turn number 2. He can see the back markers in front of him. Hearn is not building up the gap. He's dropping back and on comes Jimmy Horton. Here comes Horton closing in on Hearn down in turn number 4. The 2nd place battle may soon be taking shape. Jimmy Horton is reeling in Brett Hearn back aboard the number 87 car. Watch him in turn number 1, down to the inside, part of the Speedway. They'll both glue themselves tightly on the inside line of traffic, glittering out of turn number 2 and down the back chute. Hearn breaking free, but Horton, he'll twist that chassis down through 3 and 4 this time to try and close the gap. Running aboard the Duchess over the door is the number 87 car. Meanwhile, Jeff Hetzler, he sees the lap traffic ahead of him. The racetrack is blocked for Hetzler. He'll go to the inside part of the Speedway. Hearn and Horton will catch up. Just 2 cars separate your 1st and 2nd campaigners. Decker drops it down to the inside. He'll let the corporate jet taxi on by. Hearn to the outside. Here comes Horton. Horton will begin to hunt them down like a wild rat in the woods. Here he comes on a turn number 4. Horton looks off to the inside. Up to the outside part of the Speedway. He's reeled in the corporate jet. Hearn drops down to the inside. They'll follow the lap car on a turn number 2 this time. Hearn tries to put a nose down to the inside. Gives him a little look tap. Let him know he's there. Moves up to the outside. Horton following suit to the rim shot down in turns number 3 and 4. The 2nd place battle is where the action's taking shape right now. Meanwhile, that Jeffer Hetzler aboard the 33 car down on the inside, and Jeff Hetzler has his hands full with lap traffic. Hetzler trying to chew away. Make sure he keeps the nose in at 33 out in front of the 72 machine. Hearn, once again, got all he's got to do to contend with Jimmy Horton. Horton shows some muscle down through turns number 3 and 4 this time. He'll apply the pressure coming off the inside rail and turn to the 4, down
draws the mark. It's still Hearn and Horton back there for the second and third positions on the field. Fourth spot all by his lonesome with the barefoot Bob McCready aboard the number 9 car. Back in spot number 5 is still the number 115 of Kenny Tremont. Tremont rides in fifth. Then it's Doug Hoffman back in spot number 6, and we do believe Jack Johnson in spot number 7. Will make the most exciting racing out here this afternoon. Wood Shepard out of Wallkill, New York, continues to work his way through the lap traffic. Hearn, meanwhile, he's had to resort to the outside part of the speedway. Here comes Jimmy Horton down the back straightaway. He's within shooting distance of the number 72 car. He'll win him up down there, 3 and 4 this time. Hetzler drawing in out of turn number 4 down the home straightaway. Move over side, being given 43 laps to put on the board. It's Brett Hearn riding aboard the 72 car. He'll swing shot down to the inside part of the speedway. Horton gets the door slammed on him by lap traffic. Tobias and Tittle holding up Horton back there aboard the number 87 car. Jimmy Horton, he'll twist her up to the outside part of the speedway. Horton holds on to the number 3 slot. Hetzler, still your leader, buried deep in the heart of turn number 1 right now. He'll try and put a lap on Bruce Klein coming out of turn number 2. Hetzler out of Wallkill, New York, the Bernie Smith-owned Reclamation number 33 car. Hetzler, a 5-time winner of the Duke Motorsports Circuit in 1995. A very powerful driver combination with the team cars, 3 cars strong this Eastern States weekend, and now he's got all he's got to do to drop the plow and clear out that lap traffic down at turn number 2. Hetzler sees daylight. He'll get by Higbee this time. Hearn's got his hands full. He's got the LP2 car, Marco Potman, right there to contend with. Hearn will move to the outside part of the speedway. Horton will follow suit down through all turns number 3 and 4. Horton will close the gap coming out of turn number 4 this time. Just 1 car separates himself in the second place battle with Brett Hearn. Bob McCready, meanwhile, he's taken to the outside part of the speedway. He'll dance up to the outside part down turns number 1 and 2, working the upstairs groove to try and close the door and race by the Jimmy Chester automobile. Lap traffic is proving a whole lot of homework for the top 5 campaigners. McCready glides by the Chester automobile. McCready on the outside. Here we come on turn number 4 this time. Hetzler comes to the inside, and Hetzler, look out for Bruce Klein down between turns number 1 and 2. Caution lights coming on the field. Bruce Klein losing a handle on things. Down between turns number 1 and 2. Pit lane will become alive with activity right now. We see the pit crews getting ready. Watch your favorite driver. He may be choosing his first pit stop in the CarQuest 200 at this time. We see the Brett Hearn crew getting ready down here. They've got the big fuel can in their hands. They've got the tire jack in the other hand. They'll be taking a look, and they seem to be going back behind the tent right now. Caution is on the field. The pit area is now open. Let's see who makes the call down to the pit area. Pit crews are waiting for their drivers. Jimmy Horton down to the inside. He'll make his first pit stop at this 200-lap CarQuest shootout. Hetzler will not make his pit stop this time around. Neither will Brett Hearn, but Jimmy Horton, the Duchess overhead door crew, is standing by. They've got some new rubber to stand by. They've got some new Sunoco racing fuel to fill up that fuel cell. Kenny Tremont, another top 5 winner, as does Doug Hoffman and Jumpin' Jack Johnson, all top winners in the pit area right now. The top 2 cars have not taken their pit stop. Craig Jackson down behind pit wall, a lot of sheet metal damage to the right rear portion of that automobile. Danny Johnson pulls away, as does Jack Johnson. He has beat Jimmy Horton out of the pit area. There goes Doug Hoffman. Horton pulls away right now. He'll take a notch in head of Pat Ward's automobile to get back out onto the racing surface. Leader Jeff Hetzler remained out onto the speedway. Here comes Brett Hearn. Hearn down to the speedway. Your second place campaigner will make his first pit stop in this 200-lap CarQuest shootout. Watch the smoothness of this pit crew. We saw them at Syracuse some 2 weeks ago. Very quickly, they serviced the number 72 car. The Sunoco racing fuel down behind the fuel cell. They push the driver off, wipe his helmet away. He goes, Brett Hearn, and a very quick, smooth pit stop. His first one in the 200-lap CarQuest feature event. Craig Jackson, of course, pulling away, but they've still got some sheet metal flapping in the breeze on the 96J car. They'll pull away right now.
Tim from Scoring and Timing, the leader, obviously, the number number 33 of Jeff Hetzler. Bob McCready now second. The 72X, that's the backup Brett Hearn car. Larry Brosma riding in third. Bobby Varon running fourth, car number 18. Ricky Mills in the number 5 spot in car number 348. Looks like Richie Urich in car number 10 in the next spot. The number 26 in the next position, that's Dave Camara in car number 26. Kenny Tremont in car number 115, then Danny Johnson in car number 6J, and riding 10th is the 60 of Doug Hoffman. Tremont, Danny Johnson, and the 60 of Doug Hoffman have all made their pit stop. All right, we're set to go. The Olson Todd Oldsmobile in at the rear pit gate. Jeff Hetzler, the pace setter, brings them out of the corner. The green lights are on, and down they come. Hetzler has got 3 lap cars between he and the second place running barefoot Bob McCready. McCready, remember, defending champion of this particular event, and another jam up maybe over the number 2. Dougie Hoffman, the 10th place running car, in problems out there as it comes to a halt almost at the halfway point of the back straightaway. Yellow is out. I think I see a possibly left rear flat tire. No, it's not flat. And Brett Hearn in the Auto Palace car number 72 comes back down pit road here, and he only took on fuel the last time around. Now he's going to be taking on rear tires. The jack goes underneath. They're going to work on both the left and rear side. So the Auto Palace number 72 car is up in the air. They've got the right rear off and already back mounted on. I'll tell you, these guys do a fantastic job in pit stop action. Keeping an eye on the pace car. The yellow lights remaining out. The 2 of Hearn moving out. They're in the current lap. Payne in car number 7X in the Jerry Higbee car number 97 also into the pit area. The caution lights remaining out onto the speedway. Looks like pit road is now clear. So Hearn getting a complete service job in the last couple of laps. He got fuel the last trip around and this time took on 2 rear tires. A radio report on what happened on the 60 of Doug Hoffman. Meanwhile, the Olson Todd Oldsmobile pace car swings in. We're set to go. The green coming back out, and Hetzler at the point. Hetzler leads him coming down. And they tell us it's a starter problem on the Doug Hoffman car. Meanwhile, the lead car going down the back straightaway. The backup Hearn car has faded to the number 4 spot. Back there, 5th now, is the electrifying Richie Urich, and right behind him is Dave Camara in the number 26 car. Leaders coming out of turn number 4. McCready trying to clear some traffic. He's riding in the number 2 spot. Gets up on the outside part of the speedway. Gets by the Brooks Dental car. Just a couple of cars between McCready and Hetzler. Hetzler leads him going down the back straightaway. Going down into the tricky number 3 corner. Here's McCready. Now coming up behind at the bias car number 35 as he goes down on the inside. McCready's going to follow him through the corner as they come out of the turn. McCready still in behind Tobias. Bobby Varon riding third. And Bobby Varon in the girls trucking car number 18. Working up on the high lane on the outside. There's a young promising driver, Bobby Varon, as he goes down the back straightaway in the number 3 position, closing in on McCready. Remember, he won a School Racing Super Nerd Series event at Honda this past summer in a brand new car of his, and he's closing in on McCready. He's got him in his sights, and he's trying to reel him in. Off at turn number 2, McCready tries to get by Tobias. Tobias, car number 35. We've got yellow out onto the speedway. on the racetrack up in the number 4 corner. So apparently some sheet metal or some parts out on the Speedway up in turn number 4, bringing out another quick caution. 62 laps are in. We'll see if any of the front runners are going to make a pit stop here. Hetzler, McCready have not made it, neither has Bobby Varon. And apparently something here on the front straightaway also that they have picked up. The crossover flag to get side by side coming up. Hetzler still the leader. Marco Potvin and Tobias both a lap down. McCready rides in the number 3 spot. Bobby Varon in the number 2 spot. Bobby Varon riding in the number 3, presenting in position number 6. Bob McCready, the Kinney Drug Stores racing team, standing by. Kinney Drug Stores racing team stand by to make that pit stop. Hetzler's Reclamation car number 33, the crew have not even been active. Top 5 cars here have not pitted, and they are Jeff Hetzler, Bob McCready, Bobby Varon, Larry Brosma in the 26. Number 6, and we got trouble here in the front straightaway. A couple of cars, Bobby Varon, and we got a couple of cars get turned sideways. It's Jack Johnson, car number 12B. One of the cars involved, the Eddie Zachary, car number 156. Dave Camara also out there. Camara was your 6th place running car. The panels really chewed up on that. Bob McCready moving away okay in car number 12B. He was involved up there. It appeared that that was him and did move away, so no big problems coming out there. Now the Kinney Drug Store team, let's see if they're standing by for the number 9 car. Here's Jimmy Chester, car number 16, clearing the pit road. Yellow lights coming out. We've got 66 laps are in. Jimmy Chester is calling it quits. He's behind pit road. Lead car is still the number 33, a Hetzler. Your 2nd place car is still car number 9, Bob McCready. Larry Brosma, car number 72, now running in the number 3 position. Running 4th is Bobby Varon, car number 18. He lost a spot in that particular melee up there in the number 1 corner. Next car running in position should be the number 6 of Dr. J. Danny Johnson in the Freightliner car number 6. There's Jack Johnson into the pit area. Steve Payne, who has been in and back out, but they're all running in the current lead lap. Ricky of the Gallagher GMC Truck Center at a nearby Newburgh, New York, for their ongoing support here at the 1995 racing season with that beautiful 1995 GMC 3/4 ton pickup. It's back behind pit wall. It's got that piece of racing debris in the back of it. The racetrack is clear. We're set to go back to green flag action. McCready moves up into the number 2 slot. It's Brosma running 3rd. Bobby Varon, car number 18, running in the number 4 position. Everybody trying to get sorted out. They are. We're set to go with green flag racing as the pace car is in the rear pit gate. Down they come. Green lights are on. Hetzler continues the pace coming down here. And we got trouble up on the high side of turn number 4 and down the front straightaway. It's the Ricky car and also Pat Ward in car number 56. Looking over at the reclamation pit area, they are not ready to make a move. They're going to keep him up there in that number 1 position. He has dominated the number 1 spot right from the original drop of the green. McCready coming in, Barrett coming in. Watch the Kinney Drug Stores. Car number 9 crew ready to go to work. He's going to get fuel. He's going to get a left rear tire. right rear tire. Number 72X, Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson out on the track, McCready out on the track, Bobby Varon in car number 18 now out on the track. Another piece of debris over there on the number 1 corner. We can see it laying down there on the racetrack. The car's splitting it as the drivers pick it up. Some go high, some go low, split it right down the center. Hetzler still the leader. Brosma in the number 2 position. Third place running car now, I would believe, would be Danny Johnson. And remember, Danny has made his pit stop. Talk about good track position. Although I see Danny dropping down low, going down the back straightaway. Is he going to come back in? He is not. I believe he's just trying to cool off the left side tires. So Danny Johnson remaining out on the Speedway racing surface, and we're almost set for another restart. Bod and Tremont says, no, I want it. So they dip around on the lanes going down the back straightaway. Right on the inside of Larry Brosma's car number 72, and we got action up there in the high side of turn number 1. Jimmy Chester, Craig Jackson. Jack Johnson involved up there, but Jack gets spun around and he moves away under his own power. He will not go down any laps. 76 laps are in. And to the Brett Hearn car again. The fuel tank is being readied. Let's see what they're going to be doing over there. The reclamation car number 33. Probably the reason. Car they bring it in is not the Brett Hearn car, it's the Larry Brosma car number 72X. So they go to work on that car and cannot seem to keep it going. Now gets it back up to power. Here's Bobby Varon back into the pit area. Bobby turning in a great ride here this afternoon. 78 laps are in. Track is being cleared in turn number 1. Jimmy Chester, the Kimco Hydro seating car, going to take it down behind pit wall. A tough break for the youngster out of Newfield, New Jersey. Remember, Jeff Hetzler has not made a pit stop as of yet. He still continues to pace the field in the number 1 position, riding aboard the reclamation number 33 car. Meanwhile, the caution lights have been turned out. We're set to go back to green flag racing this time. The Olsen Todd Cutlass Supreme pace car drops down to the inside. We go racing this time. Hetzler up at the number 1 spot. The 114 car. Craig Von Doren is second. Fremont 115 is third. Down the home straightaway we ride. Steps up to the outside part of the Speedway. He'll do battle with Danny Johnson for the number 2 spot. Johnson, the bottom side is open for DJ. Down the back straightaway. Danny Johnson. He'll get them wild horses trotting beneath the sheet metal this time, and he'll do some serious battle for the number 2 spot. The door gets closed on Von Doren. Here comes DJ. He'll grab the number 2 spot of the field. Danny Johnson, the Freightliner Trucks of Newburgh, number 6 car. Now riding back there in the bridesmaid's position. Von Doren taps the inside retaining wall. We've got problems down in turn number 2. They're fighting and scrambling. David Rudiman out of order down the back straightaway. It all started when Von Doren tapped that inside concrete, got a little bit loose, and a whole lot of cars behind him were left with no place to go in the Speedway. Tremont still third. Jimmy Horton up there, back up to the number 4 slot. Kern is already back in spot number 5. He's now dealing with Von Doren to secure a top 5 ride on the field. Down the back straightaway right now, Hearn wrapping up the number 5 spot.
Hetzler continues to dominate. A very, very long straightaway lead right now for second place running Danny Johnson. Fremont still third, Horton is fourth, Hearn is fifth. Camara then rides back there in the number 6 slot. Von Doren is 7th. Von Doren aboard the 115 car, riding back there in the number 7 spot. Tommy Meyer would then ride in spot number 8. Bob McCready is 9th on the field right now. And 10th would then be the 12B of Jack Johnson. Your top 10 recap after 83 laps of competition. Out for a Sunday afternoon cruise. He has not yet taken on fuel or tires. Jeff Hetzler, the Jepper out of Wallkill, New York. And problems down in turn number 1. Bobby Barrett, Craig Jackson, and Zachary all tangle with Barrett and Jackson heading back in the right direction. Jackson is the man in trouble. After 84 laps of competition, the caution lights will come on once again around the Orange County Fair Speedway. Waiting till the halfway point to consider any pit action. And he is certainly straying from the norm out here this afternoon, as all of the top contenders have already made at least one pit stop. We see the Brett Hearn crew taking a quick look at the number 72 car as it goes by. There possibly may be some radio reports of problems aboard the number 72. Green occurred car, 7th it is Bob McCready in spot car number 9, and then 8th spot in the field would be the 12B car of Jack Johnson. Jack Johnson would be in the number 8 spot. So at least the halfway point, they feel a 100-lap distance is still enough time to make their way from the back. Hilson taught B-Star back down to the inside. Set to go back to green flag racing. Here we come down the home chute. We'll haul it up back up through the gearbox. The field assembling down in turn number 1. Toby Tobias Jr. a little bit squirrely out of turn number 2 this time. He'll get them all straightened back out. Fremont right there behind him. 3 wide. Look out for the barefoot. Bob McCready's in trouble. The field goes by. McCready will lose 3 spots to the field. Rolls and Jack Johnson goes by. McCready, it could have spelled disaster for the barefoot. He held on to it. He opened back up his eyes and kept it going in a straight manner. Hetzler quickly separating himself from the rest of the field. Here comes Jimmy Horton to get by Butch Tittle, a lap car. Horton securing his 3rd place run of the field. Kenny Tremont's 4th. Brett Hearn, he's trotting up to the outside part of the speedway. Hearn will win ride coming out of turn number 4 this time. Down the home straightaway. We'll put the bomb on Tommy Meyer. Tremont, Meyer, and Hearn all in the 4th, 5th, and 6th positions right now. Tremont is 4th in the field. Hearn tries to make a break into the top 5 running order. Hearn stays on it just a little bit longer down and turns number 3 and 4. He will pick up the number 5 spot. Tommy Meyer now backing out of it side by side. They battle for the number 5 spot in the field. Here they come across the stripe. It'll be Hearn seeing sunlight first up there in the number 72 car. Hearn has now wrapped up the number 5 spot on the field. Down the back straightaway. He'll try now to reel in 4th place running Kenny Tremont. Tremont up to the outside part of the speedway. He'll tuck it back down inside. Hearn once again will stay to the outside. Here they come, nose and tail on a turn to the 4th. Danny Johnson still 2nd. He can hear some horsepower right there behind him. It's Jimmy Horton riding aboard the Duchess overhead doors, number 87 car. Horton twisting that Duchess overhead door and ride down the back straightaway. He'll try to put a nose down to the inside. Johnson comes down to slam the door tight. Watch that 2nd place battle of the field. Here they come on a turn number 4 this time. Nose and tail battle. Horton will take Johnson as a drafting partner down the home straightaway. Single file formation. Nobody steps on a line coming out of turn number 2 this time. DJ Danny Johnson, the Freightliner Express car, still holds on to the number 2 spot. Horton right there like a shadow at spot number 3. Kenny Tremont is 4th. Here comes Hearn to the outside down at turn number 3. He'll hold on to the number 5 spot. Hearn puts the nose down to the inside. He'll show some muscle down across the stripe this time. And Hearn, he dropped the plow. He went down to the inside, and he showed Tremont who's the boss out here this afternoon as he quickly marched by for the number 4 spot on the field. Hearn, of course, already making what he would feel to be adequate pit stops in this 200-lap car quest shootout. He's now regained composure, act up to the number 4 spot. Tremont now back at spot number 5. Tommy Myers at 6. The barefoot is 7th. Baltimore then be 8th on the field. Jack Johnson, James Guevara fight for the number 9 spot. 95 laps at
Here comes the Jeffer down across the stripe. Holds on to the number 1 position. Danny Johnson still second. Jimmy Horton can see the tail side of the Freightliner Texas Newberg number 6 car. Horton tries to reel him in. Johnson keeping Horton at bay down the back straightaway. Johnson on the inside. He'll have a lap car to contend with coming out of turn number 4 this time. Lap traffic, it's Marco Pophead up there holding up the daylight. As Johnson will try to put a nose down to the inside. He may try and get by him on the inside part of the speedway. We predict he'll try and go through one of the turns, possibly 3 and 4 this time. Jeff Hetzler, once again, working his way into the lap traffic area. Down in turns number 1 and 2, he'll cut it off to the inside. Danny Johnson holds on to the number 2 spot. Here comes Jimmy Horton back there, riding aboard that Duchess overhead doors. Bailey & Sons Oil, Catelmo Drywall, Trailer King, number 87, Big Block Modified. Horton tries to use the quicker line of traffic. He'll drop it down to the downstairs groove of the speedway. We're coming up to the halfway point. We'll see the halfway point next time around. Jeff Hetzler coming up to this mark right now as he works out of turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. The halfway point, the lap number 100, brought to us by CarQuest Auto Parts. Here comes the Jumper on a turn number 4. He is your halfway point leader as lap number 100 goes up on the board. Brought to us by CarQuest Auto Parts, the title sponsor for the 34th Annual Eastern States Racing Festival. Meanwhile, Hetzler down the back straightaway, holds on to the number 1 spot. It's Danny Johnson right there in second. Horton still twisting that left front way up off the ground, down the back straightaway. Still trying to put a nose down on the inside. No real estate to be found at turn number 4 this time. Horton applying pressure. He'll show some muscle. Crack the whip down across the mark. Horton makes a move to the outside part of the speedway. It will not be the fast way around. He'll lose some valuable racing space. Going way wide, coming out of turn number 2 this time. Meanwhile, Brett Hearn continues to ride back there in the number 4 position. Kenny Tremont is then 5th. Bob McCready rides in 6th. Larry Brolma rides back in the number 7 position. Lap number 100. It read like this. Hetzler still your leader. Johnson 2nd. Horton 3rd. Hearn was 4th. Tremont in spot number 5. Meyer then 6th. Urick is running in the number 7 spot. Bob McCready is 8th. Rose was 9th. Jack Johnson is 10th. Followed by Dave Camara, Mike Rickey, Craig Von Dorn, and Bobby Barron. Top 14 recap at the halfway point of the CarQuest 200. Well, Danny Johnson, meanwhile, has gotten by the lap car of Marco Potvin on a turn number 2. The field slide down the back straightaway, and a whole lot of rubber being laid down in the 5/8 mile hard play. The horsepower at an overabundance here this weekend, and Jimmy Horton's car. You can see the twisted line of traffic he'll take coming out of turn number 4. He picks that left front up off the ground. The whole car seems to make a dive down to the card play, and he is applying 100% of the horsepower down the back straightaway, almost like an open wheel sprint car, the way he takes that horse down the backstretch. Hearn, meanwhile, he's all by himself back there in the number 4 spot. Kenny Tremont, the Doherty Brothers Construction, Bain Concrete, number 115 car, still riding back there, capping off the top 5 order. Tremont coming up on Bobby Barron. Barron, by the way, was running in 14th position. He'll now put a lap on him. So Jeff Hetzler has lapped all but the top 13 campaigners at the halfway point. 106 laps being shown to the board. Hetzler draws in tightly. Jeff Hetzler, his optimum groove out here this afternoon is the inside line of traffic. Remember, no pit stops yet. The tires may be heading to head south on the 33 car of Jeff Hetzler. He'll take it to the outside. He'll use up what little rubber he's got left. On a turn number 4 this time. Trying to get a lap on Bobby Barron coming down across the stripe. Hetzler executing that takeover, but here comes Barron. He'll not make it easy on the leader, Jeff Hetzler. Hetzler drops back out of it, down to the inside. He knows that there's a little bit of daylight between himself and second place, running Danny Johnson. Johnson holds on to the number 2 slot. It's still Jimmy Horton back there in spot number 3. Brett Hearn running a nice, calm, cool, collected groove on the inside. Part of turn number 4 this time. Out of turn 4, they rumble down across the mark. Johnson makes a move to the outside. He'll tuck it back down between lap cars. He will not hide from Jimmy Horton. Here comes Horton to the outside part of the speedway. Horton has found the second place campaigner of Danny Johnson. Joe the pit stop number 22 car. But caution lights come on. 109 laps have now been scored of this CarQuest Eastern States 200. We'll keep our eyes on race leader Jeff Hetzler. Remember, Hetzler's pit area reporting they will not pit until after the halfway point is complete. We are now 9 laps past that mark. And we see the Jeff Hetzler pit crew standing by. They will wait for their driver momentarily. They've got 2 tires in hand. And a lot of debris being spread on the speedway by the number 22 car of Steve Dodd, as that right rear tire is virtually shredded on the big block modified. Boy, I'll tell you, did he put some debris out. Here comes Hetzler into the pit area. The reclamation car number 33 car pulling in. The crew stands by. They are going with, obviously, fuel, right rear rubber, and left rear rubber on the reclamation car number 33. Up on the jack they go. The right rear's off, the right rear's on, the left rear's off, left rear on. Now they just do the bolt pattern coming on, and Hetzler's car will be able to come right back out there. This is a very, very interesting strategy. 89 laps remaining in the CarQuest 200, and Hetzler, who has been the leader since lap number 1, now has 89 laps to make up the distance. How many think he's going to be able to do it? Fresh rubber, a full load of fuel, and he has been cooking around the speedway. Jack Johnson into the pit area in car number 12B. The lead car will now be Danny Johnson aboard the Freightliner, car number 6. He's a 2-time champion of this event. Jimmy Horton in car number 87 now rides second. Brett Hearn runs third. Riding back in the number 4 spot is 115 of Kenny Tremont. Kenny Tremont has been riding right there all afternoon. 5th spot is now car number 9, the Kinney Drugstore, Syracuse Frame Service, car number 9. We stand corrected. It's Tommy Meyer riding in the number 5 spot in car number 33 in the 3rd. Then it's Bob McCready in car number 9. Richie Urich in car number 10. Larry Brolsma in the 72X is next in line. Race driver. He was sideways heading for the inside retaining wall, and he saved that car. He miraculously saved that car. It was vintage Bob McCready. He is just a fabulous player out there on the racing surface, and it's just fun to watch him race. The Olsen Todd Oldsmobile paints car swinging in the rear pit gate. We're going to get a start this time with a different leader. Dr. J. Danny Johnson brings him strong off the corner. The green lights are on. Danny Johnson is up there into the number 1 spot. And now Jimmy Horton, a champion 2 years ago here at the Orange County Fair Speedway, riding right there in the number 2 spot. Hearn now moving up to the number 3 position as he works the outside part of the speedway. Hearn coming up on the outside of Joe Winnie, a lap car. Kenny Tremont 4th, now 5th is Tommy Mayer and Bob McCready in the number 6 spot. Top 6 cars hooked right together. Larry Brolsma riding back there in the 8th spot. 7th position is Richie Urich. Urich in the blue number 10 down in turn number 3. Meanwhile, Danny Johnson leads the parade coming out of turn number 4. 116 laps are in. McCready now trying to go to the outside to work on Tommy Mayer to pick up that number 5 position. He went up wide, took a look out there, and then dropped it right back down in the racer's lane. All the hot dogs right together. One of the cars to keep your eyes on is the early leader, car number 33 of Jeff Hetzler. He's got the freshest tires on, and he is trucking his way up through the pack. He's about halfway up through there right now. Jeff Hetzler up to the number 11 spot. Dave Camara is 10th in car number 26. Craig Von Doren is 9th in car number 114. Larry Brosma runs 8th. Richie Urich rides in the number 7 spot. Kenny Tremont rides 6th. 5th is the Barefoot Bob McCready, car number 9. Tommy Mayer running 4th. Then it's Brett Hearn in car number 72 riding 3rd. Your second place car is Jimmy Horton in the leader. The Freightliner, car number 6 of Danny Johnson. And Danny looking strong coming out of front straightaway. He's got traffic directly in front of him, but he'll be able to handle it. Running back there behind Jeff Hetzler is Bobby Barron. He's running 12th. Jack Johnson rides in the 13th position. And Jeff Hetzler has just picked up another one. He has moved up to the number 10 position, and he is moving. Hetzler in car number 33. Racetrack strategy playing out. We'll see what happens. He's got a fresh set of tires. Can he get him up through there without abusing him? He is right behind the Craig Von Doren, car number 114. Von Doren now with some slower cars in front of him. That's David Rudeman, car number 49. Von Doren trying to get by, but here comes Hetzler on the outside. But Jeffer moving up on the outside part of the Speedway. And he moves up to the number 9 position. Hetzler is on the move. That's David Rudeman, and also the number 91, Billy Decker in front of him. They get up a little bit high. Some traffic right in front. Like we said, it's David Rudeman and Joe Winnie. He'll be able to clear that traffic here in probably the next lap or two, and then go after some of the front markers. Hetzler works to the outside, now to the inside, back to the outside to clear the traffic. Keep your eyes on him. The next car that he has to pick up a position is the 72X of Larry Brosma. Brosma in car number 72X. Meanwhile, leader Danny Johnson up there on top. Horton rides in the number 2 spot. Back there third is the Hearn, car number 72. Your 4th place running car is McCready. McCready riding in the number 4 position. They work off the corner, down the front straightaway. Here's McCready inside of a lap car. Tommy Mayer running 5th. Back there 6th is the 115 of Kenny Tremont. 7th is car number 10, Richie Urich. Then Larry Brosma. And then comes the number 33 of Jeff Hetzler. He has cleared the traffic. He's got nearly a full straightaway to pick up to go up and catch Larry Brosma. Brosma working between turns number 3 and 4. Lead car, Danny Johnson. 126 laps are in. Danny works down that back straightaway. In about a lap or two, he is going to be in some traffic himself as he is closing in on the 348 of Rick Bell. Rick was a top qualifier, started in the 12th position, was 12th fastest time on Friday afternoon, but now Danny Johnson is stomping down the back straightaway, trying to close right in. Jimmy Horton rides right with him in the number 2 spot. Earlier in the day, Jimmy Horton's chassis was flexing heavily. We talked to Will Kegel about it, and he said it may be the way they set the chassis up to let the track come to them later in the afternoon, and that appears what's happening. He is still picking up the left front, but the chassis is not twisting and dancing over the back straightaway as it did in the earlier half of the race. Here's Danny Johnson now catching that traffic. Horton now catching Danny Johnson. Oh, the little box going over there in the number 2 corner. Let's see what happens. Danny Johnson will get to the outside of the traffic. He moves up high, clears the traffic. Horton now right in tow, right behind him. And so is Brett Hearn. Hearn in tow as well. Top 3 cars right together as they scoop down the front straightaway here into the number 1 corner. Danny Johnson clears the traffic. Horton now getting boxed up in the traffic. Here's Hearn now in car number 72. He takes a look out on the inside, going out of back straightaway. Lays it down, backs out of there. Now comes back on. Clears the traffic up on the outside. Hearn in car number 72, taking it up on the outside to get by Rick Mills, car number 348. McCready riding fourth and closing in on the top three in the Kinney Drugstore's car number 9. Back behind him is Tommy Mayer, a distance behind, in car number 33 in the third. Then Kenny Tremont on the 115, Richie Urich in car number 10, Larry Brolsma in car number 72, and that full straightaway that Larry Brolsma had on the 33 of Jeff Hetzler has now disappeared. Hetzler is right up on the back bumper, and he is making a bid to go by him. Hetzler goes by Brolsma to pick up another spot. His next victim is the number 10 of Richie Urich. Urich, we've got him running in the number 7 spot. So back there in 8th position is Jeff Hetzler in car number 33. Here's another scramble in traffic. Danny Johnson cuts through it as he got up on the outside of Bruce Klein coming out of turn number 2 and going out of back straightaway. Horton following right through. Hearn following right through as well. Johnson, Horton, and Hearn riding 1-2-3. McCready closing back to the number 4 position. McCready rides back there fourth. Your number 5 place car coming up out of the corner and down the straightaway is Tommy Mayer. We've got a flat tire on the right rear of Butch Tittle's Z car, and that may bring out the yellow after 134 laps of competition. Your 5th place running car is Tommy Mayer. 6th place running car is the 115 of Kenny Tremont. Kenny turning in a great performance here this afternoon. In the 7th spot is Richie Urich, and as we had indicated just a couple of minutes ago, running 8th now is Jeff Hetzler. Hetzler running 8th, 60. Town Oldsmobile pace car picking up Danny Johnson. Danny doing a great job in traffic. He's been caught up, I think, on 3 different occasions, particularly up there between turns number 1 and 2, where 2 or 3 cars in front of him have boxed him in, and he has been able to take the car up to the outside. He's going to be a factor. He's going to be tough to go by. Horton and Hearn obviously just waiting it out. They want to get down towards the end. They showed before they are showing all their cards. There's Jack Johnson in car number 12B coming by, and Jack seems to be leaning an awful lot going down into the corner. The caution lights are on. Jack Johnson, they tell us, with a right rear flat, so I'm sure he's going to be coming into the rear pit gate to change. No, Johnson is still out there. We'll check that again as he comes by. Car to watch. It appears to be okay. Caution lights getting turned on after 137 laps of competition in this Kart Quest. Eastern Phase 200, the Olsen Todd pace car is down. Here comes the field on a turn number 4. The green flag flies. We pull the trigger. We're back to racing action once again. It's Danny Johnson, the doctor of big block excitement. He'll show the way out of turn number 2 this time. Right there within shooting distance, it's Jimmy Horton riding aboard the 87 car. Down the back straightaway, here comes Jeff Hetzler. Kenny Tremont has slowed to the field. Problems with Tremont aboard the 115 car. The field goes by. There's something wrong with Tremont. Here comes Hetzler in the number 6 spot. The caution lights will come on. The caution lights coming out of the Speedway for Kenny Tremont. A flat right rear racing tire. While the caution came out, we saw Tremont drifting back. He was on the outside part of the Speedway. Not a good place to be when the field comes bearing down. The caution lights came on, but meanwhile, in the midst of all that confusion, Jeff Hetzler has made his way to the number 6 spot on the field. Hetzler, an outstanding drive from the tail side of the pack after making the very late race pit stop, has already showed the field that he knew what he was doing when that reclamation crew waited till after the halfway point for their very first and possibly their only pit stop here this afternoon. 140 laps in, 60 laps to go, Tim. Tires could become a factor here in the late stages. Many of these tires now have been on the cars for well over 100 laps. You see what happened to Kenny Tremont's car number 115. They exploded the right rear tire. The track is very hard, very abrasive, and they're running very, very hard. But the man to watch, driver of the number 33, the driver of the number 33, Jeff Hetzler, he's got the freshest set of tires. Ladies and gentlemen, how many think Danny Johnson is going to stay right up there and win it? How How many think Horton's going to do it? How many think Hearn is going to do it? How about McCready? What about Tommy Mayer? How about the reclamation number 33 of Jeff Hetzler? Well, we've got a new right rear racing sneaker has been screwed onto the bull bar surface, number 12B car. He is back out of the pit area. We're set for some green flag racing action. 143 laps on the board. Green flag goes back out. The hammers go down. The home straightaway. Quickly, the field back up through the gearbox. Danny Johnson shows the way out of turn number 2 this time. Jimmy Horton holds on to the number 2 spot. It's Brett Hearn back there, riding aboard the number 3 position. The barefoot back in spot number 4. Here comes Jeff Hetzler. He'll work to the outside to take over spot number 5. It's the Jeffer. We've got a problem. Down in turn number 3 and 4. It's Jeff Strong riding aboard the number 93 car. Strong hard into the turn 3 and 4 concrete. Brings out the caution. 144 laps have been scored. Tommy Meyer. Meyer in that Fordyce Construction, FNS Mobile, Village Lincoln Berkeley, 33 and a third car. He's been doing an outstanding drive this afternoon, and he was one of the unexpected top campaigners. Of course, he had a good run here in the 1995 racing season, but boy, he's proving the best against all these old-time big block modified veterans. Johnson, after 145 laps of competition, is your current race leader. Jimmy Horton still second. Hearn riding third aboard the number 72 car. Bob McCready is fourth aboard the number 9. Fifth, it is Tommy Meyer, that 33 and a third car. Sixth, right there, here's the guy you want to keep your eyes on, the Jeffer, Jeff Hetzler, riding aboard the Reclamation 33 car. Seventh is the number 10 of Richie Urich. Eighth, it's Brett Hearn's backup ride with Larry Brolsma behind the controls. Brolsma, the first time ever behind the controls of this car, has already mastered that car up into a top 10 running order, and he continues to ride back in the number 8 spot. Ninth, it's Dave Camara. 10th, it's Craig Von Doren. 11th, it's Kenny Tremont. And 12th, Jack Johnson. The Olsen Todd pace car drops down to the inside. We're set for some more green flag racing action. The field rumbles on a turn number 4 this time. The green goes up, the hammers go down. We're back up the racing speeds. Johnson once again will show the way, coming out of turn number 2 this time, down the back straightaway. Danny Johnson puts a little bit of daylight between himself and second place, running Jimmy Horton. It's Hearn back there, aboard the number 72 car, hold on to the number 3 spot. Here comes Hetzler. He'll make a move to the outside part of the speedway. The Wild Horses trotting beneath the sheet metal with the Reclamation 33 car. Watch him drag race Meyer down the home straightaway. He'll tuck it back in behind Meyer. He'll take him as a drafting partner. The barefoot comes up. He advances on Hearn just for a second. Hearn bobbled down in turn number 2. The barefoot left him know he was right there. We can see him now in turns number 3 and 4. Hearn back up to speed. It's McCready back there, and we've got Joe Winnie around the back straightaway. Caution lights come on the field. One modified down to the inside part of the speedway. He might be trying to put to cool off those big block modified racing or so laps. Does he kind of foretell the future right now and say, I better hold on to what little I've got left because I've got to make a sprint to the finish right now with just 49 more laps underneath my belt. Danny Johnson, the Freightliner Trucks of Newburgh car. He's had several wins here over the last couple of years in the Eastern States Weekend Challenges. He had himself a single win here in 1995. The caution lights go out. The Olsen Todd pace car goes in. We're set for some green flag action. Watch the battling of all the top 10 contenders right now. Here we come on turn number 4. Green flag flies, and here we go. Johnson back up to speed. He'll take about a turn number 2 this time. Watch the barefoot. He's got the inside edge on Hearn going into turns number 1 and 2. Now Hearn can stretch out the pace, going down the back straightaway. Let's see who can be the master down in turns 3 and 4. Here comes the barefoot once again. He can draw it tightly against Hearn coming through the turns. On the straightaways, Hearn unleashes the horsepower. Hearn cracks the whip on the streets, but it's the barefoot showing muscle through the turns. Bob McCready can close in tightly back there. Aboard the Syracuse frame, Kenny Drugstore number 9 car. Tommy Meyer holds on to the number 5 spot. Hetzler has dropped back. He's got about a car length distance between himself and 5th place, running Tommy Meyer. Down the home straightaway, it's Jimmy Horton, now the man on the mission to close the gap between himself and race leader Danny Johnson. Tommy Meyer now falls victim to the on Jeffer. Jeffer used the inside part of turn number 2, and Hetzler has now made a break for the number 5 running order. Here comes DJ, down across the stripe. He holds on to the number 1 spot. It's Jimmy Horton running right there aboard the number 87 car, working back there in the prize mains position. Horton, by the way, will keep Johnson within shooting distance. And as we noted before, he does not twist that car quite as hard as he had been the first half of this event. The track has come up to risen, and it has now met Jimmy Horton's challenge. And Horton may be holding back. Hit 156 laps, 44 times around the Orange County Speedway. A lot of secrets may be held underneath the sheet on all these cars, and a last-ditch effort by all these top 5 campaigners for sprinting up to the number 1 spot may now be in order. Hearn continues to hold on to the number 3 spot of the field right now, the Cavallero Produce number 72 car. Fourth, it is still the Barefoot, Bob McCready aboard the number 9 machine. Jeff Hetzler is 5th. Top 5 cars have said bye-bye to the field. It's Tommy Meyer back there in the 33 and a 3rd car. Hold on to the number 6 spot. Rich Urich is 7th. Larry Brolsma riding up there in the number 8 spot. Dave Camara then 9th, and Craig Von Doren out of Parnell, Pennsylvania. The CNC Ford car rounds out the top 10 competition. Very little elbow space between the top 5 campaigners. We see the strengths and the weaknesses of these top 5 runners right now. Hearn powerful on the straights. It's amazing. Brett Hearn, usually a very dominant factor through the turns, but McCready shows strength through the turns here in the 5-8 mile this afternoon, very late in the stages of this CarQuest Auto Parts Eastern States 200. Chip Hetzler home, McCready bobbles for just a second. That'll cost him some valuable racing speech in the field of Brett Hearn. McCready, back of the punch right now. As we mentioned before, a true master at going faster. Nothing keeps him down. Nothing bothers him. He'll get back on the right track right now to try and close the gap. McCready, all cars using the inside line of traffic. Jeff Hetzler, meanwhile, back in spot number 5. He's put through his own punches right now. He'll slice way down low going into turn number 1. And we know several times this has been a problem for Hetzler. Oftentimes he's been known to go a little bit too low in that turn. Let's see what he does now with the Reclamation 33 car down across the stripe. He's going to give it all he's got to try and close the gap. Woo, how close can he go to the inside retaining wall? It's Jeff Hetzler trying to close the gap between himself and the Barefoot up there in the number 4 position. Top 5 cars continue to hold the rest of the field at bay right now. Meyer still 6th, Urich is 7th, Brolsma 8th, and the Brett Hearn backup car. Camara 9th, Craig Von Doren back in spot number 10. Johnson, the Freightliner Trucks of Newburgh, number 6 car. He held some victory lane ceremonies already at this Eastern States weekend. And Johnson knows that his work is far from finished. Jimmy Horton out of Somerville, New Jersey. One of the most dominant factors at the 5/8 mile in 1995, falling second only by a margin to Brett Hearn. Hearn right there in the chute back there in spot number 3. McCready still back in the number 4 spot. He has not fully recovered from that near miss down in turn number 2 before, when it cost him several spaces over Brett Hearn. Hearn continued to ride the number 3 spot. Meanwhile, Jeff Hetzler is closing in on the Barefoot. Hetzler, the Reclamation, Bernie Smith-owned number 33 car. A dominant factor in dirt motorsports competition in the 1995 racing season. Back markers are now in sight of race leader Danny Johnson. The doctor now analyzing the situation. He offers his diagnosis. He'll go up to the outside part of the speedway to try and get by Joe Winnie down the back straightaway. Here is where the race will get exciting. It'll tighten up now in traffic. Johnson to the outside aboard the Freightliner Express number 6 car. He'll take the black number 6 for a ride to the outside. Horton bobbles for just a second. Here comes Hearn to close the gap in spot number 3. They were ride down in turns number 1 and 2. Horton drops it back down to the inside. Hearn will try and close soon. Here comes Hetzler down the back straightaway. Jeff Hetzler puts a nose on the inside of Bob McCready. McCready freewheeling on the outside. Clear racetrack ahead for McCready. He gets by Winnie for the number 4 spot. And Jeff Hetzler caught behind Joe Winnie in that 5th place battle down the home straightaway.
Hetzler still 5th. Tommy Myers then 6th. Rich Zurich is 7th. Larry Brolsma still 8th. Dean Kamara 9th. And 10th place would then unofficially be Craig Von Dorn aboard the 114 machine. 168 laps will be displayed as the doctor goes by. Danny Johnson caught in the midst of back markers, down in turns number 1 and 2. Billy Wilcox slides high. Here comes Jeff Hetzler back down to the inside. He'll pick up the number 4 spot on the inside line of traffic against the barefoot. Watch him race down the back straightaway. They'll charge hard in the turns number 3 and 4. Hetzler wings it back down to the inside, front of the Speedway. He'll try and chop his way off to the 5-8 mile in every fashion that he can. Hetzler now freewheeling. He'll try and reel in Brett Hearn. Here comes Horton and Hearn. They'll battle for the number 2 spot. Down the back straightaway, Jimmy Horton breaks free from the clutches of Brett Hearn's grip. Hearn back there in the number 3 spot. McCready still 4th. And Jeff Hetzler in spot number 5. It's Danny Johnson going by aboard the Freightliner trucks of Newburgh number 6 car. Meanwhile, here comes the Jeffer on the inside. Wilcox slides high. Just one car. Jack Johnson separates Hetzler and Hearn from that 3rd place battle right now. Johnson works to the outside. Danny Johnson, it appears that he may be exercising a little bit of caution coming through the high sides in turns number 3 and 4. The right rear on that car is really getting its workout right now. We see it starting to drop down a little bit as he works into turns number 1 and 2. Danny Johnson up to the outside part of the Speedway. It might not be the lane of traffic that he would most like to be racing on right now. Johnson onto the inside. Horton is 2nd. Hearn still 3rd. Hetzler 4th. The barefoot Bob McCready back in spot number 5. 6th place on the field would still be the number 33 in the 3rd car, Tommy Meyer. Zurich is then 7th. Brolsma is still 8th. Kamara is 9th. Von Dorn in spot number 10. Down the back straightaway once again. Watch the potential 2nd place battle on the field. It's Jimmy Horton back there. He can hear the horsepower. The footprints are sneaking up behind him. It's Brett Hearn wearing them Simpson Racing sneakers. Up to the outside part of the Speedway. Hearn is very capable on the outside lane of traffic. A lot of drivers in this late stage of the race do not want to race on the outside anymore, but Hearn has no problems whatsoever. Here comes the Jeffer, Jeff Hetzler. He'll close the gap back there, the number 4 spot. Hetzler makes a move to the outside, coming out of turn number 4 this time. The top runners must use the outside lane of traffic. He'll work his way. The caution lights coming out. The yellow goes on. Larry Brolsma in trouble. A flat right rear tire with a Brett Hearn backup car, and a very, very tough break for the outstanding small block talent here at the Orange County Speedway. He was running up there in the number 8 spot for oh so long, and the right rear tire has failed him. They have not changed. 176 laps have now been scored. Danny Johnson continues to dominate. A whole lot of horsepower right there trotting behind him. It's Jimmy Horton continuing to ride in 2nd. Hearn is 3rd. Jeff Hetzler is 4th. Bob McCready is 5th. Rich Zurich back there in spot number 6. Caution lights get turned out. The Olsen Todd pace car waves the field by in turns number 3 and 4. We get set to go back to green flag racing action. Here the field comes. Bearing down the home straightaway. They'll hold off the turn number 1. Johnson, Hetzler, Hearn. Hetzler back in the 4th spot. Horton still 2nd. Hearn is 3rd. McCready is then 5th. Meyer then 6th. Zurich is 7th. Kamara now 8th, filling in that slot that Brolsma occupied. Von Dorn is 9th. And Kenny Tremont is 10th. Well, they have bolted on a right rear tire. Watch the battle. Here comes Hetzler on the inside. They'll fight for the number 3 spot. Down the back straightaway. It's a slingshot boost to the inside. And Jeff Hetzler waves on by Brett Hearn. Hetzler has now taken over spot number 3. But Jeffer, he's using the inside lane of traffic to gain his spot the last 25 laps. Hetzler knows how to save a race car for the late stages of his 200-lap CarQuest Classic. Watch the Jeffer. He's got some homework now in front of him. He's got to close the gap. He's got to reel in Jimmy Horton aboard the number 87 car. Down the home straightaway. Horton in the bridesmaid spot. He won't let Danny Johnson out of his sights. Johnson takes it for a ride down in turns number 1 and 2 this time. The Doctor, a big block excitement dominating the last half of this big block feature event shootout. Horton still 2nd. Hetzler 3rd. Hearn 4th right now. McCready is 5th. Tommy Meyer is 6th. Zurich
back there in spot number 7. Steve Camara running in spot number 8. Von Dorn is running for Cleveland on the outside for spot number 10. Some elbow space between the top 4 campaigners. The Barefoot tries to reel in Brett Hearn back there aboard the number 72 car. Time winding down, 182 laps will be displayed this time around. Danny Johnson out of Phelps, New York, a multi-time winner here over the last decade of the dirt motorsports circuit, is now showing some signs of muscle. The car is very consistent. It still continues to dominate the CarQuest 200. Jimmy Horton, he may be getting quicker. Horton appears to be turning up the wick a little bit, coming out of turn number 4 this time. And Horton is not picking that left front up off the ground as we have mentioned that he was the first half of this CarQuest shootout. Horton got a good line of traffic going on. He is reeling in Danny Johnson through the turns, down the back straightaway. Johnson still has the horsepower on Horton, but in the turns, Horton shows he's the master. Watch him down through 3 and 4 this time. Horton will reel in race leader Danny Johnson. Here comes the Jeffer back aboard the Reclamation 33 car. Jeff Hessler has Horton within his shooting distance right now. Hearn still 4th, Bob McCready is at 5th, Meyer 6th, Urich is 7th, Camara is 8th, 9th is Kenny Treva. 185 laps. It's a 15-lap drag race to the finish right now. Here comes the doctor down the home straightaway. The car driving a flawless groove. The top 3 begin to close the gap down in turns number 1 and 2. Down the back straightaway. Johnson keeps the nose out in front. Horton rallying back there. The number 2 spot trying to close the gap. But the man doing the most homework on the field continues to be Jeff Hessler. Problems down in turn number 2. We've got caution on the field. Kenny Tremont in trouble, as is Jack Johnson. 186 laps. A tough break for Kenny Tremont. He was running up there in the number 8 position. Danny Johnson holds on to the number 1 spot. Jimmy Horton right there in the number 2 position. Jeff Hessler, what a drive this gentleman has shown here this afternoon aboard the Reclamation 33 car. He remains back in spot number 3. Brett Hearn continues to hold the number 4 pattern. The Barefoot, Bob McCready back in spot number 5. Tommy Meyer is then 6th. 7th place would be Richie Urich. A good run for him this afternoon. Riding aboard the Collier Motor Car Company, Baskin-Robbins Ice Cream, PS Express printing number 10 car. 187 laps have been displayed on the board right now. The caution lights have been turned out. The Olsen Todd pace car drops down to the inside. Here going to take you the rest of the way to the checkered flag is Joe Murata. All right, Dr. J lays the pedal down, opens up about a 5-car advantage here in front straightaway. Moves down into the number 1 corner. Horton right there in the pursuit, riding in the number 2 spot. But the hot shoe right now, we're going to keep our eyes on him, the number 33 is Jeff Hessler. Hessler riding down the back straightaway into that number 3 corner in the number 3 spot. Trying to close in. Hessler appears to be closing in off at turn number 4. Horton, though, trying to close up on the leader, Danny Johnson. There will be a clear racetrack for all of the leaders. I don't believe they'll run into any traffic here in the late stages. We've got a car in trouble. It could be the Dave Camara, car number 26. He went up high, he went down low, and he parked it down on the inside. Caution coming out. And a right rear tire going on the Bobby Barron, car number 18. Bobby Barron, car number 18 out of Sharon Springs, New York. The Freddie Burrows sponsored car number 18 into the pit area. And they're going to go to work on the right rear of that car. Danny Johnson, the leader. Jimmy Horton, 2nd. Jeff Hessler in the Reclamation, number 33, rides 3rd. Back there, 4th, is the number 72 of Brett Hearn. In the number 5 position, the Kinney Drugstore Syracuse Frame Service. Car number 9, Barefoot Bob McCready. 6th spot is the number 10 car. Former Speedway champion here at Orange County, the number 10 of the electrifying Richie Urich. Pace car has entered the rear pit gate. We have 9 laps to go when the green comes out. It'll be 8 laps to go. It's a shootout, ladies and gentlemen, here at Orange County Fair Speedway, and they bring them down to Frenchview. 8 laps of racing remaining, and look at the big blocks turning up the track. Hessler takes a look down on the inside of Horton. Horton motor quarters away, opens up a 4.5, 5-car advantage going on the back straightaway. Down into the tricky number 3 corner now. Horton applies the pressure on Danny Johnson. Danny bobbled a little bit up into the corner. And now the Freightliner, car number 6, tries to open up a lead on Horton, but Horton is going to take no prisoners as he's going to look down onto the inside off of turn number 2. Almost had a shot at him going on the back straightaway. Going down into the number 3 corner. Horton looks down again on the inside lane. The lane is open. Can he do it? Can he hold it down? No, he doesn't. This time around, 6 to go. It's a shootout. Going down into that number 1 corner. It's anybody's race. Hetzler, car number 33, sets back in the number 3 spot. Hearn rides in the number 4 position. We move down into the number 3 corner, and this time around, this trip, the sign will come down, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on to your seats. 5 laps to go. 5 laps remaining here in Orange County for the CarQuest 200. And now Horton looks down onto the inside. Danny could be in trouble. He could be out of gas. He could be out of gas as he staggers down the back straightaway. But caution will come out on the Freightliner car number 6. Danny Johnson was one of the first to make pit stop. He has gone, I would believe, about 135 laps on that tank of fuel. I believe he is out of gas. So now it's Jimmy Horton, the leader. Hetzler in the number 2 spot, but wait a minute. Remember, the race must finish under green flag racing conditions. Brett Hearn had taken away the number 2 spot going down the back straightaway, they tell me. Hearn will be motioned up to the number 2 spot. Hetzler will be running in the number 3 position. Bob McCready running 4th, now running 5th is the number 10 of Richie Urich. Pace car moving him around. There's Danny Johnson fueled back up, but he is in trouble. He is down 1 lap. Danny will have to pick it up on the tail side of the pack, ladies and gentlemen, to watch the shootout. Wilson Todd Oldsmobile dives into the rear pit gate. We're set to go, ready to pick it up. Here they come in between the corners. Down they come. The green light's coming on. It's Jimmy Horton in front of 96 up into the number 1 spot, riding right there in the number 2 position. It's Hearn. Hearn trying to close in. Horton, who won 198 laps are in. We move down into the number 3 corner. Down in between the turns. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by. White flag coming out. Horton in the Duchess overhead door number 87 opens up a big lead. Going down into the number 1 corner. Hearn rides in the number 2 spot. They get down in between the corners. And Hetzler, there's problems with Hetzler. He's up wide. Here comes McCready for the number 3 spot. All right, scorers, stand by. Here they come. The shootout out of the corner. The 1995 CarQuest 200. Jimmy Horton takes the win. Second is Hearn back there. Third is McCready. Fourth is Tommy Meyer. Fifth is the 33 of Jeff Hetzler. Wow. I don't know what happened to Jeff Hetzler. He was riding third. Something happened to the car coming out of turn number 2. Like they say, it's never over until the fat lady sings. Hetzler thought he heard her humming, but he didn't hear her sing, and it was all over. Well, the 1995 CarQuest 200. The winner, car number 87, the Duchess overhead door number 87 of Jimmy Horton.
You know, that's spots there, but Danny was tough. You know, I wouldn't have got him. You know, he was guarding that bottom left. We pulled the miracle move, but you know, he was good. And, you know, the whole race was pretty good.
Well, Lady Luck really rode with you out here this afternoon. Tell us, we had an eye on you throughout the better part of the 200 this afternoon. A lot of cars came through the turns, very nice and smooth. You had that left front up off the ground. If that was a brand new tire, the nubs would still be on it. That left front tire was in the air almost a whole 200 laps towards the last part of the event. It wasn't quite as twisted as it was in the earlier part. Is that just a part of the setup for the hot setup out here this afternoon, or was it just giving it all she had?
Well, I don't know. If you can figure out why it does that, just tell me, because I'd like to stop it. You know, we'd like to keep all four wheels on the ground, but the car was hooked up, you know, and we were good. You know, it was track position again. The crew got me in and out of the pits, and it's Dutchess Overhead crew did a hell of a job.
You took your pit stop early along with all the other top guns in this 200 lap, and was fuel consumption possibly a concern of yours, as it was obviously with Danny Johnson?
Well, it wasn't a concern with us. We've done it before there. You know, we just had to get on sync with all the other guys instead of like we did last night and lost, they pitted before us, and we just ended up third last night. So we beat them in and out of the pits, and that's how we won this one.
We saw a couple of drivers shredding rubber in the last part of this event, but obviously tire wear was not a concern at all for the 87 crew.
Well, we tried to take care of him a little bit, but you're chasing Danny, you want to win the race, so you got to abuse him a little bit. You know, I could see how his tires were wearing, so I didn't really have much concern on that either.
Well, Jimmy, obviously 10 laps ago, you never thought we'd be talking to you first out here this afternoon.
No, I thought I'd be sitting where Brett is, but, I like it sitting here.
Well, you saw that daylight open up. You took advantage of it. Jimmy Horton, congratulations. You're back in victory lane for the race that counted the most here at the Orange County Speedway. Your 1995 CarQuest Auto Parts Eastern States victor, Jimmy Horton out of Somerville, New Jersey, and Rich Pillai and family will be joining Jimmy in the victory lane shot as they present a $20,000 paycheck to Jimmy Horton for his outstanding efforts this afternoon. Brett Hearn, you gave her all she got. You thought you had it in the bag out there. You drove an outstanding race, but those other guys were ready for you this afternoon.
Well, I'll tell you, we just did what we had to do here. The car really wasn't all that good. We got behind. They opened the pits up halfway through the field, let some guys get in. So we decided to come back in and take a set of tires. It helped out a little bit, but a really tough track to pass on.
What went through your mind when you saw all that scrambling and then the late race caution coming out? Did you think maybe you had a last-ditch effort to get by Jimmy?
There just wasn't enough racetrack out there. The bottom was real good, and it was very narrow. I had so many close calls. I'm just lucky to be here.
Well, you did have a little bit of sheet metal damage earlier on in the event, but you drove it real good. You played a good, cool race, and once again, your pit crew did an outstanding job back there. They're one of the smoothest pit stops we've seen for the entire 200.
Oh, yes, they did. Yeah, I'll tell you, these guys have really worked hard, and all through these 200 lappers, the pit stops have been fantastic. Every one of them, every race, and they just did a great job.
Well, Brett, you did a good job late last night, or should we say early this morning. You had a win out there, and we almost thought, we talked about it earlier, you might have had two wins in the same day, so to speak, because you had that $7,500 win last night in the small block division. You brought her home to a second place, and not a bad afternoon's worth of work.
Not at all. I'll tell you, it's been a great couple of weeks, a great October for us, and just when it looked like we were going to be fourth, we ended up second, so we're really pleased.
Brett Hearn, ladies and gentlemen, second place finisher this afternoon for the CarQuest Eastern States 200. Bob McCready is joining the trio there for us as a major title signature sponsor for Eastern States Weekend, and what a decent afternoon of competition.
I'll tell you what, CarQuest really didn't do much besides help out with the sponsorship. You got to owe it to Will Cagle and his guys who really got the track together yesterday and everything.
Over this way.
And couldn't have done without them. The dedication of fans to sit there. I was here all day yesterday, but I didn't stay at 3:30 in the morning, and they did, so it's really out to them, and CarQuest really respects them, and we're glad to be a part of Dirt Motorsports.
Well, we're proud to have CarQuest come on board now for many years of competition here at the Orange County Speedway. Each and every year it gets better and better. We can't thank you enough for your ongoing tremendous amount of support you offered to us in 1995, and I'll tell you what, we just love to welcome you all back for 1996.
We'll be back in 96, and we'd like to expand a little bit up into New York State, Upper State, Lebanon Valley, etc., and we'll be back, and we're real glad to be here in Orange County. Thanks, Tim.
Rich Pillai, on behalf of CarQuest Auto Parts and Dirt Motorsports, thank you very much for helping make the Orange County Eastern States Racing Weekend possible, giving you a lot of static out there.
Oh, I don't know. It's just tough racing, when you get a one-groove track like it turned today, and it just makes it real difficult for everybody to pass. So you just got to do the best you can. We waited a little bit late to pit, and I think we should have maybe pitted earlier, but today was another race and an inner race for us because it was, the overall Mr. Dirt title, and I guess we clinched that, so I guess we won the war anyway.
Well, you certainly did win the war. The battle out here kind of had you a little bit beat out there today, but a real good drive home to a solid third-place finish. What went through your mind when you saw that late race scrambling going on down there between turns 1 and 2?
You just pick your way through. Everybody was trying to find a hole, and it's too bad for Danny. He had to race one, and you know, it's just racing's kind of cruel sometimes.
You definitely had a good strategy worked out for the 200 this afternoon. The tires look very good yet. How about fuel consumption on the number 9 car?
No, everything was really good. You know, it's just real difficult to pass, and there's not much you could do if you know, a guy doesn't make mistakes. You really aren't going to get him.
Well, you had a couple of thousand fans up there in the grandstands this afternoon cheering you on. Third place home, not a bad job at all for the Kinney Drug Syracuse frame car.
Thank you very much.
Bob McCready, the barefoot himself, a big block modified campaigning for Tuit here this afternoon. We do want to pass along a note to you, of course. Everybody up there was cheering on Jeff Hetzler. Well, with 5 laps to go, the pony tire. And I'll tell you what, Jeff Hetzler probably had this race in